welcome back. It's nearly 7:15. A mother from Manchester has been forced to put her home up for sale to pay for the care of her critically ill son in Thailand. Carl Bart is in a coma in a Thai hospital after a motorbike accident.
Although he had travel insurance, it ran out, and while he was abroad, he wasn't allowed to renew it. Carla Eberhardt went to meet his mum, Marilyn, who's spending over £1,000 a day now on his medical care.
33-year-old Carl Bart went to Thailand for an adventure, but a motorbike accident on the island of Koh Samui has left him fighting for his life.
I don't think I really took on board how bad it was. And then further phone calls, obviously, I realised that this was horrific. They've said that he has a brain stem injury and that we are looking at least 6 weeks minimum in a coma, followed by obviously many months and up to a year of rehabilitation. And that's the good prognosis. That's, assuming that nothing else goes wrong.
Carl had been in Thailand for 18 months. His insurance ran out after 6 months. His family had tried to renew it, but found they couldn't whilst he was still out of the UK.
He should have come home. He should have done the sensible thing and come home. But he didn't.
With a brain injury, Carl's hospital bills are now spiralling out of control, and it could cost up to £75,000 to get him home.
The house is up for sale. As a family, we're pooling everything we've got. We will somehow do this. Because one thing we're fighters, and we don't sit back, and we will make sure this happens somehow.
Desperate but determined, the family have a strong warning for all travellers.
Don't put your mum in this place that I'm at now. If you're there now, get someone to check your insurance policy. Make sure you're covered for every eventuality. If you've only done it for 12 months, then come home. And if you're going to ride a motorcycle in Thailand, because it's very lax the laws there, wear a helmet. For God's sake, wear a helmet. Don't think it won't happen to you, because I know that's what Carl thought.
For now, friends and family are focused on raising money for the treatment that Carl desperately needs, and most importantly, to bring him home.
We're joined in the studio by Sean Tipton from the Association of British Travel Agents. It's awful to see Marilyn talking there. I don't fully understand why he couldn't renew. He just honestly wanted to renew his policy and wasn't allowed to do so while away. It's a strange anomaly.
It is, Adrian, and I think a lot of people aren't aware of this, but the way the insurance industry works is that they base the prices of a policy on the amount of time you are insured. Basically, from the time you take it out, you'll cover for cancellation fees, etc., if you can't travel due to illness, and for the 3, 6 months, year, whatever it is you've paid for in the first place. Because of that, though, they will not allow you, once you are abroad in another country, to actually extend the policy, unfortunately. It is something a lot of people aren't aware of that.
But it's bizarre. So you could have flown home, picked up the phone, said, I'm going off to Thailand tomorrow, got a new policy, and he would have been fine.
Indeed.
Well, what's the logic of that? I just don't get it.
I think the thinking behind it is just purely they have to assess the risks they have when they're selling policies. And if people are abroad, it's quite difficult to see exactly what kind of problems they might have encountered at that time. But there are ways around this, though, and I would stress very strongly, if you are going away for any period of time, if you're a bit uncertain about when you're going to return, go for an annual policy. I mean, insurance is probably the cheapest it's ever been at the moment, and I think that's one way to get around these problems. I'm not saying it's a 100% solution, but it's much less likely you're going to encounter these kind of problems.
And what kind of relationship can you create then with the Foreign Office possibly when you're there? Is that a help for the family?
It is, yeah. I mean, the Foreign Office have a campaign called Know Before You Go, which gives advice on a whole range of subjects, and one of the biggest problems they encounter are British nationals travelling uninsured. Now, this is slightly different here, obviously, with Carl. He did have insurance, it just expired. But about 20% of people, that's a pretty high number, because about millions of people each year go abroad uninsured. And when they do encounter difficulties, it be their accidents, whatever, naturally the first people they turn to are the Foreign Office, but it is not their job to pay for medical expenses. Because if you think about it, that would just be a very open-ended situation. They can help as best they can, but they will not and can't pay for your medical expenses as well.
I mean, as Carl's mum said, just her advice was do wear a crash helmet.
Indeed, yeah.
But it's odd, isn't it, that I ride a motorbike, you know, you have lots of training, you pass your test and you go out and you're very careful. But I meet people who are frightened to death of coming on the back of my motorbike, never ridden a bike, apart from when they went to Vietnam and rode one for 2 weeks with no helmet or anything.
Sometimes they even check if you can ride it, I know. We feel very strongly, certainly our members, that people should avoid getting on mopeds. And if you are going to do it, make sure you are experienced, wear a helmet. And also the other issue as well, even if you, I mean, this is a very serious accident, a very tragic one as well. But even if you were just to fall off a moped, if you were doing it, as I've seen people doing, wearing Speedos and flip-flops, you can actually certainly leave most of your skin along the road, not very pleasant, and have a horrible holiday as well. But I think the main message here is that, you know, always take out insurance. If you are going to go away for a long period of time, you know, and add a few months on the end just to give you that extra leeway.
And it mightn't cost that much more for that
insurance
cover,
is pretty good value these days.
Yeah. Okay,
Thanks
Sean, thank
very
you.
much indeed for your time.
Thank you very much. You can find out more about Carl's story on our website, itv.com/daybreak.
And obviously we all wish the Bart family